All right, hello and welcome to the Rambling Robin podcast. I am Robin, and today I'll be rambling about some of the things that I'd like to talk about. But not really, though. Today is yet another special episode. This might just turn into a different series as things are going. But for now, this is just going to be the podcast episode, and I really recommend that if you're listening to this, that you go watch the video on YouTube. The YouTube channel is one second, MrGoblinear, where I'll be uploading these videos not as they release as podcast. I'm kind of catching up right now because I have to do editing and such. Either way, I really recommend that you watch this episode because I'll be doing yet another character creation I was going to say brain buster, but that's not the right word. What do we call it? It's not a mind blast. It feels like there's something. Brainstorm. That's the word. I was thinking of explosions. I can't tell you why, but I was thinking of them. We're going to do another brainstorm. Oh my, I almost forgot the word, like 5 seconds. Brainstorming. We're going to do another brainstorming session. So I'm going to be writing down a bunch of stuff. So because we are brainstorming, I'll start off by just writing down the things that I want to relate to this character that we'll be creating today, or might even be the coming few episodes, because this is an important character that we'll be working on together here. It's the main character. We're going to work on the main character, and because the main character is really important, we're going to have to do it very like step by step here. But we'll start off with just brainstorming a little bit, see if I can get inspiration for what I want to do with the character, possibly like just inspiration for what I want the character to look like visually, because that would be great, because it'll be a lot easier to start drawing the the comic if I know what my main character looks like, right? But because we'll be drawing the main character, that is why I really recommend that you watch the video version of this if you're still listening to the podcast. Of course, I'll be trying my best to convey what I'm doing, what I'm talking about. And the first part of this, the brainstorming part, it's not going to be that difficult to keep up if you're just listening. But either way, I was thinking, why don't we just jump right into it, as they all say. So now I can't really get the dimensions right when I'm trying to mirror my screen here. So we're just going to be looking at like, what is this, like a 3x4? We'll just be looking at this smaller screen. I don't know. I can't get it to work. I'm not paying like $30 for a program that I'm not even sure is going to work that well, because there's just so many different programs out there for me to mirror my iPad screen to my computer. The way I'm doing it right now, it's free, it's wireless, so we'll just have to make do with this, for now at least. But now, let's start with the main character. And I'm not going to be writing main character. I'll actually be writing the character's name, because that is one of the few things that I've already decided on. And the main character, let's see here, we're going to increase this. It's actually named, ooh, that's way too big. The main character is named Cog. So we'll start up in this corner here. So we have Cog. Cog, how did I think of Cog? I actually didn't really have a true process. I was just thinking like, what could be like a somewhat interesting, somewhat catchy name that is also easy to remember. Cog. His name is Cog. And actually, if we're speaking about his name, we can do it like this. Cog has a brother. And the brother's name, you want to guess the brother's name? The brother's name is Wheel. Wheel. And you're thinking like, is he trying to say wheel and is just being such a foreigner? All you English native speakers. No, actually not. His name is actually spelled Wheel. 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 It's his name. So the brother is named Wheel, and our main character is named Cog. All right, you get what's going on here. All right, and then Wheel. We'll circle back to Wheel later. And yes, it's Wheel with the sound. I'm just gonna have to accept it, unless I change my mind, because I probably won't change my mind. So I don't know why I'm saying that. Either way, we have Cog. So Cog. Is Cog a boy, a girl, non-gendered? What is Cog? Cog is actually a boy. I've decided that it's way easier for me to write a story about a boy. Or is he just a guy or a dude? Um, he's a boy. Well, I guess you can say he's a man because I'm gonna write somebody. He's gonna be in his like late teens to mid 20s at the start of this story, or maybe now that I'm actually saying it out loud, maybe I actually do want to make him more of like a mid to late teens. I think I'm gonna do that. So he's gonna be somewhere between 15 to 18 years old. Because I think it works a little bit better based on what I've already thought about his character, or a little bit about his connection to other characters that I've thought of. Then it makes a little bit more sense for him to be a bit younger. Yeah. So he's going to be mid to late teens, dude. His name is Cog. And then I've been thinking, so because his name is Cog, I still haven't thought of, and this is one of the more important parts of the character, because I haven't thought about his powers yet. And this guy is going to have powers. It's not going to be your average run-of-the-mill dude just going to school and living a normal life and then something happens. No, no, no. This guy has lived a life in a town where everybody is a magician. Maybe not everybody, but like the majority of people are magicians. And this is a world where magicians exist, but they're not that plentiful that you just turn the corner and you see a magician. Except for this town, almost everyone is a magician. That's kind of like the thing. And I'm kind of like making things not as easy for me as it could be by basing the story in this town from the get-go. So I'm gonna have to somehow show people that this town is special because there are so many magicians. Then or it could even possibly be something that I make it seem like, of course, everybody's a magician. And then they leave the town and like, oh my God, magicians, they're so rare because magic is so dangerous. People don't just use magic. You could die if you use magic wrong. If you teach a child to use magic, they might accidentally just kill themselves by trying to cast a spell, because you don't want to cast spells. You want to do enchantments because they don't require as much magic. They just require more of a time investment. And magic system ramble bamble. We're not going to be focusing on that. But either way, how did I get to that? He's 15 to 18 years old. I'm totally blanking on how I got to that. Either way, so. No, seriously, it's bothering me now. How did I get to that point from his age? All right, now I finally remember. I'm so sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. So we were talking about the magic, right? Cog's magic, or Cog's power. I don't want to say that it has to be magic right now, but there will be something special about Cog, right? So I've been considering it lately, just because of the name Cog and his brother's name is Wheel. I was thinking like maybe they don't practice magic. Maybe they're like scientists. Maybe they actually use science, or like let's say they're mechanics or something. They make robots or they make tools or stuff like that, and then they might have people around them that enchant those tools. And that's the thing about them. I've been considering that, and it's something that I might want to use, but I might not use Cog for this purpose. Cog is not going to be that character, I feel, because it'll make it a bit too complicated for me personally to just make that work, even though it could be cool. I'm way too invested in how I've built up the magic system to not have the main character actually use that magic system frequently, just so I can like kind of show like, this is how it works, this is what you need to blah blah blah. So we have the power of Cog. with the power of cogs. Not really. This is one of the this is probably the biggest hurdle that I have for the character. Not even talking about his looks, actually. His looks, another category here. Just like, I haven't really thought about what he looks like, but that is somewhat inconsequential compared to what his power will be, because the power is what will kind of drive the character forward, in a sense. It's not going to be just something like, oh yeah, one day I decided that I'll be doing this, and now that's what I do, right? Magic does, like, first of all, magic is not such a thing where you're just like, yeah, I know, I just decided to do that, unless you're a really, really skilled and powerful wizard or a troll in this world. So because of that, the power, like, there needs to be a meaning behind it. And of course I can think of the power and then I'll create a meaning afterwards. It's probably going to be easier that way, but I don't want to just like pick something at random and like, oh yeah, that'll work. I want to have, like, I want to think of something that is interesting, easy to understand, yet it's still open for a lot of possibilities for me to keep working on what this magic actually does, or what you could potentially do with it. So that is the big thing that I want to do. So if we go from the power, let's say just possibilities. Possibilities. So what, like, so for example, oops, if we think about one of my favorite power systems in fiction, the stands in JoJo, they are so creative, a lot of them. Like, I love how a lot of them work. Some of my favorite stands have yet to be animated, so I guess to assert to kind of, like, I won't mention in what context they're used, I guess, but some powers that appear in the later parts of JoJo are like really interesting to me, especially when they're used like together with other abilities. So let's, before we go into later parts, if we talk about like part 5, they and I guess a spoiler warning for anyone who doesn't want to get spoiled at all about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is in part 5. They encounter 2 stand users. One of them, he has this power that basically creates mold. I believe it's mold on you, or on any is it biological? No, it's not biological. On any living matter, if it decreases in elevation. So basically me just lowering my hand, there would start to grow mold on my hand. Or if I just lower my head, there will start to grow mold on my head and stuff like that. And that power on its own, it's very powerful, it's very dangerous. But then working in tandem with the other stand user, who has an ability to basically liquefy any solid matter, and by doing so, he can basically make the ground sink, the ground you stand on sink, making you a huge target for the first ability. So stuff like that, where 2 abilities work together to do something, or just one ability. Just the thing where, like, yeah, when you go lower, there starts to grow mold on you. That's just like, it sounds really random to say that. Sorry. So I want to think of stuff like that. So for example, in later parts in JoJo, my favorite part 7, there's also there's this one character who has this ability that is like, I can't really explain it well, but I'm gonna try. This character basically has the ability to, if he puts one thing in between 2 other things, and these things are not specified, it could be anything between 2 other things. It has to be like objects, the things that Yeah, it's not easy to explain. Like when I'm just trying to think of what I'm saying. Basically, basically, if you have a book and close the book, and he puts whatever he wants in the middle of that book, it could be himself. Let's say when you close the book, he will enter a different dimension. But those are like the conditions for him to do it. Is the weird part, right? A character who can jump between dimensions. All right, cool. That's neat. There's a lot of characters in fiction that can do that. But this character basically has to like, let's imagine he's walking around his house and he like, you know what? I want to go to a different dimension today. Then he has to like maybe crawl into bed and put the covers over him, and then he'll be able to go to a different dimension. Or he has to like close the door, and he'll have to stand like by the wall behind the door and close it on himself, kind of something like that. So just having interesting conditions for powers to work, and then having powers that, depending on what they do, they could be interesting. So what I want to do, and also if we're talking, and I'll continue rambling now about powers. What another power that I thought was kind of lame and boring. If you've ever heard about or read the Law of Ueki, I cannot remember the original Japanese name for it, but basically this kid, he has the power of recycling. That's right. He needs, if he has trash, he can use his power. So he gets like whatever constitutes trash. I guess it's up to him what trash is. Like he can pick something off the ground, like, yeah, now I have trash. And when he does that, he can use his power, and his power is creating trees. So yeah, he creates trees, and then that power, like, it keeps building on that power, and they do somewhat interesting things with it, and a lot of stupid things that I really felt was unnecessary. But either way, so what I want to do is think of a power that is fairly simple, and then be able to build upon it, and not having it feel like ridiculous. So, for example, with the magic powers in this world, adding more and more conditions to the magic that you're using could either make it easier or more powerful, or add new, let's say. So having more or different conditions can make it more versatile, is what I want to say. So by doing that, by having a fairly simple base power, I could try to grow it and do different things with it, depending on what kind of conditions we might set, or what kind of more specific situations there might be. Because the magic powers in this world, if you don't know, it's basically, you don't have to specialize in one thing, but if you don't specialize in one thing, you probably won't be very good at anything, because it takes so much knowledge and power and dedication to doing one thing that almost no one focuses on many different things. Kind of like, I guess it's similar to how Nen works in Hunter x Hunter, where like people can technically just do what other people do, but if they don't specialize in that specific thing, it probably won't be as good as the original person that they're trying to copy, or just not as powerful or stuff like that. I guess I'm kind of rambling in my own head as I'm talking here as well, which is kind of stopping me from getting to a point. So let's try to focus. Let's try to get back to the brainstorm here a little bit. So we got power, we got possibilities. So what are things that have a lot of possibilities? Can we think of something from that? I can't really think of anything from that right now. I was thinking for a little while. I was thinking time, but that's such a. No. When you start to do time abilities, it always comes back to like time travel in some kind of way. And doing time travel is just one of the biggest pitfalls when it comes to storytelling, in my in my opinion. There, like a lot of stories have done it well, but you can always find holes in those stories because of how time travel functions or could possibly function if if we made it happen, right? There's always like, oh well, why didn't you go back further? All right, you can only go forward in time. Okay, but why would you only want to go forward? Like, some there's just way too many things about that. So I don't want to do that. But then I'm thinking like, okay, what other things uses cogs? And that's how I came to machines. So I'm gonna try to like not really connect the name to the power in that sense. So if we're just thinking of what could like a main character power be, fire, right? Fire. I don't want to do fire. Fire is like one of the most boring powers out of them all. And I think I've talked about this in a different podcast, but ever since I got Pokemon Blue, I've been more of a water guy myself. And I only got it because my friend got Pokemon Red and we wanted to be able to trade. So he basically told me like, well, yeah, I have the one with the dragon, so you're going to have to get the one with the turtle. I'm like, oh man, I wanted the one with the dragon. But I also want all the Pokemon. So I'm going to get the one with the turtle. And I'm going to play the blue one. Ever since then, it's blue. I'm doing blue stuff. And water is blue, right? Or the reflection, whatever. So I'm thinking like, do I want to do a water power? No, I don't. I don't really want to do like an elemental power for this character. I will have characters with elemental powers, but it's not going to be the main character. The main character, I want to have something more fun, a little bit more interesting. So what do I want them to do? What do I want them to be able to do? Why? And then of course, I want to connect the power to like, why do Cog have this power? Why did Cog decide to on this power in particular? And that also brought me to like, maybe his brother. And yeah, so okay, so if we just talk about the brother quickly here. Older, the Wheel is an older brother to Cog, and he's been doing research. Let's say he's been researching this magic that has been long since forgotten, or it's been lost, or maybe it's forbidden or something. But Cog figures it out, like, oh, this old magic, right? Old magic. It should not be connected to possibilities here. Let's go. This power, old magic or forbidden magic. Forbidden magic. One of those two, maybe. He figured it out, or like just, I guess, new magic. Magic that works in a different way from what we know. One of those three is that's what I'm thinking, and it kind of makes sense, right? Of course, he could have a power where, like, well, your dad did this, and now you will do it too, or your brother did this, so why don't you copy what he did and then perfect it or something? No, I want to do something else. I want it to be extra special. Or maybe it shouldn't be extra special. Maybe it should be just like basic. Just something very basic. That is also a possibility. We could just do something like, yeah, just like super basic magic. Maybe he can make explosions. Maybe he can shoot lightning or like electricity. Maybe that's something. Maybe he like gravity is maybe not that basic, but that it's a cool power that we could like work with a lot. Stuff like that. Or maybe like creating vacuums in the air and like moving stuff around using that or something. It's also a possibility. For some reason, when I'm thinking like forbidden or old magic, like something that feels like it's not very versatile, but it could be. For some reason, I'm getting like bubbles an image in my head. I'm seeing bubbles. I don't know what for, like why, but that's the image that I get in my head, and I'm not sure what to do with it. Bubbles. I guess I'm thinking like partially like of a Caesar in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2. He uses bubbles. It's pretty cool. Bubble Beam in Pokemon. That's a kind of lame attack, actually, but still bubbles. So I don't know, maybe bubbles? Do I want to do something with bubbles? I'm not sure. Like, it's the image that keeps popping up when I talk about it or when I think about it. So maybe I should do something with bubbles. But then again, I'm not sure. I don't think I want to do that. I'm going to do something else. I'm not going to do bubbles. But what else could we do? What else could we do? Let's talk about looks for a little while. Let's drop the magic for just a few minutes and talk about looks. So, Cog, what kind of look will Cog have? I'm thinking, is scruffy the right word? Maybe not scruffy, but I like. He's how tall is Cog? I'm thinking he's not very tall, but it's not very short either. Maybe it's like and I'm gonna be talking in centimeters here. Maybe it's like 170 centimeters or like 165 centimeters. And this is when he's like 15 to 18 years old, so it could change. Like he could grow up and become taller. So let's talk height. Let's say he's 168 centimeters. Like a decent height for someone in their like age 15 to 18. Like it's not tall, but they're not short. For that age at the very least. So it's 168 centimeters. All right. What else about their looks? What else? I'm thinking, or no, I'm not thinking. I thought I was decided on the hair color. I'm thinking just like plain like a blonde hair, and then he's kind of like an unkempt kind of style. I was gesturing towards my own head in the video, but there's nothing there. I'm bald, so that's the hair that I'd want to have. I am blonde though. I'm naturally blonde, like dirty blonde. Get bleach blonde like that instantly. I spend like 10 hours in the sun. Blam! I got the blondest hair you ever did see. But either way, but I'm thinking blonde. Not short hair, but like mid-length. Mid-length. Ah, come on. Length. There. A blonde, mid-length hair. But then it comes to clothing, and that's where I'm like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I don't know what to do with the clothing. Or maybe before we talk about clothing, let's talk about the face. What kind of facial features? I'm thinking I want it to be fairly happy, like kind happy. Kind and happy look. Kind and happy. Ooh, happy. Face. A kind and happy face. All right. What else? I think that's a simple enough explanation. But what I really want to focus on, like, okay, the clothing. Ooh, how does this guy dress? So I kind of want him, like, I want Cog to be a more down to earth character compared to the people around him. A lot of the people, or a lot of the characters that I'm thinking of, that I've drawn and that I thought up, they're a little bit more extravagant. They all have like strange clothing, you could say, odd fashion, like big hats, and some of them walk around bare chested to show off the muscles. um, and stuff like that. One guy is wearing socks over his jeans up to his knees, and then he's wearing like clogs on his feet, and then he has this huge belt. Like, it sounds a little bit sounds strange, huh? A little bit stupid even. Those are the types of characters that I'm designing. That's what I like. It's fun. But when it comes to Cog, I want to be a little bit more down to earth. So I'm thinking, of course, I could just do that. He like kind of switch up his fashion like from time to time. He won't wear the same thing at all times, but I want to start off with something. And I'm thinking, just for simplicity's sake, that he's wearing like maybe just like a white button-up shirt and like jeans. And then I'll play around with like accessories and stuff like that. I feel like that could be a fun way to start off the character. And this is, like I said, this is just starting off. So let's say clothing. Let's just say plain look with accessories. Yeah, whatever. Accessor. I'm kind of blanking on the spelling of accessories, but just saying accesso works enough. Plain look with accessories. So that's kind of what I want to do for the looks. And then we'll kind of work from there. I'll look up I don't know. I'll go on Pinterest and just look up a bunch of stuff, and then we'll work our way from there. But when it comes to the magic, what do I want to do with the magic? That is it's such a big thing. And of course, I could just think of something now, and then eventually I'll just change it to something completely different if I find that it doesn't really work for me. But it's so difficult trying to just pick one thing. Just anything. What could he do? Does he use weapons? Does Cog have any weapons? I don't know. He doesn't feel like he needs weapons, probably. Maybe he has a gun, at least. Most people in this world, they carry a gun. Maybe he'll be one of the outliers. Maybe he carries a sword or something, or maybe he has a shield, like Captain America, or Goofy. Does he have a wand? Does he have anything like that? I'm thinking no, probably not. Not to begin with, at least. So what does he do? See, I keep thinking like bubbles or like orbs or something. Is that what he does? I feel like I need to do something with that, because it's what keeps coming up in my mind. I have nothing except for the shape, just round shapes. But is that what I want to work with? Is that it feels like it should be a part of a different character that I've been writing. He will be a part of this story, but it's a different character, and it would probably work better for him. But what could we do with this character? What could his power be? Like, I don't want to make it too complicated. I don't want to make it too out there. I want it to be something that's fairly easy to understand. So we're thinking probably not new magic. It's just something about like forbidden or old magic that makes it feel a little bit cooler, right? So I'm thinking it has to be one of those. But which one? It could be any one of them. It could be both of them at the same time. But what type of magic will it be? Maybe not forbidden magic, actually. Because that implies that people have used it and they decided like we should not use it. And that kind of opens up to more like more problems for the character in that in that he's using forbidden magic, and people be like, hey, wait, what are you doing? That's forbidden magic. Stop doing that, right? So maybe it's just old magic, forgotten magic, magic that maybe not a lot of people have been able to use, or something like that. Yeah, I feel like that makes more sense for the purpose of this character. So it's old magic that his brother, Will, was kind of researching, and then Will, he was close to a breakthrough or something, and then he just never finished it. But Cog kind of picked it up and was like, oh yeah, I want to do magic. What did my brother research? Oh, what's this? This old magic. All right, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make it work. So what can we do with that? Some old magic. Is he like, maybe he's a healer? That could be interesting. That could be really interesting, actually. So maybe, like, if we're thinking, and I'll keep referencing other other things just to make it easier for my explanation. So let's talk about JoJo's again. Part 4, Josuke. He's kind of a healer. Well, I'll add a question mark just so I'll remember when I read back or look back at this. Is he a healer? Like, healing magic is not something that I've really considered as a part of the magic system that I'm creating. So maybe that could be something. Or maybe he's... maybe he found... maybe new magic isn't completely out of the question. Because maybe, let's say Cog invents a new magic that doesn't consume as much magical energy as the magic that people use right now. No, I don't want to do that, because that implies that people, like, logically speaking, people would like see that he would probably teach some people or try to teach people how to do it, and then that would spread and it would become the norm, and then that would kind of remove the whole thing about the magic system being dangerous, right? I don't like doing that. I don't really enjoy that in stories when something that is rare and not like, and it's difficult for people to do or accomplish, when it becomes like common knowledge how to properly do it or something like that. It was one of my gripes when it came to The Legend of Korra, when I watched that, because in The Last Airbender, like, lightning bending, ooh, that was like a rare, cool thing. And then, like, no, yeah, everybody just does it. That's how we power our, like, that's how we get electricity. People just lightning bend. Yeah. Or some stuff like that. It's like, it just didn't work for me. But yeah. You know what? This episode has been quite long, so we're actually going to stop this one. This is going to be a 2-parter. I'll be releasing the second part of this episode next week, so you're gonna have to make do with what we have so far. This episode is like about in half an hour by now, either way, and I have other stuff to do, so I'll be continuing on this this brainstorm next time. I'll have some more time to think about the power up until then as well, and then if I don't spend another half an hour just talking, rambling, we'll start actually designing the character next week as well. But that's gonna be it. So I hope you had I hope you had fun. I hope for anyone who's listened this far, thank you very much. Please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel if you want to keep up to with what I do. I also do a little bit of like Pokemon card openings, and I also don't do anything else in particular on YouTube right now. But if you want to follow me on Instagram, I am MrGoblinear. I am Robin Doff on Twitter, and on ArtStation, I am Doffman, Doffman. Follow me on any of the things that you'd like to, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time. All right? Bye now. All right, hello and welcome to the Rambling Robin podcast. I am Robin, and today I'll be rambling on about the things that I'd like to talk about. And today, once again, we're going to keep working on our main character here on the Trolldom podcast. Exactly, this is not just the Rambling Robin, this is the Trolldom podcast. This is where we focus on my work in progress, grand epic story. I don't know what it'll be. It's a story, it'll become a comic. Trolldom. Watch out for it in shelves whenever, sometime. I don't know, maybe never. We'll see. I just like to document my process here, and that's why we're doing this today. So last time we actually worked on kind of like a brain. We did a little brainstorming session for my main character that I want to create, because I thought it was like, okay, it's about time. I've been working a lot on this story, but now it's time to actually work on the main character. And why am I wearing my headphones actually? I'm gonna take those off. Now my head looks a lot smaller, doesn't it? Either way, that's fine. So we worked on the main character last time, and now, or we're gonna keep working on the main character. Big spoilers, I'm sorry. But I've actually done a little bit. I've done some thinking in between episodes, because it's about not really a week, but it's been about a week since we did a little brainstorming session, and we kind of stopped where I was thinking about the powers that the main character was going to have. And after that episode, I decided like I need to really think of this, because I can't come back in a week and have nothing, right? And it'd be kind of sad if I just like, oh, you know what, we're going to stop here, I'm going to do some thinking, and then I come back and it's like, yeah, nothing. I got nothing, we're going to do something else, right? No, I'm dedicated to this. I'm going to finish this goddamn character if it kills me. Maybe not that. I'm not that dedicated. I kind of want to live. I can do another story if this doesn't work out, but you know. Either way. So I did some thinking, and I think I've come up with a pretty decent solution to the powers. Or maybe wouldn't even call it a solution, with a pretty decent power to actually implement for this character to have. So I was thinking a little bit. I kind of drifted away from thinking about the power as I do, because even in my own head, I ramble on and just like drift away from the subject at hand. So I got to thinking about, and I'm gonna scroll through the document I have here. I'm gonna get to the main character. I'm gonna read through a little bit. So one of the things that I kind of forgot about that I've written down about him. Let's see here. So they're very adept at using spirit magic, but have a deep fascination with casting magic and their brother's research into forgotten magic. So there we go. We have forgotten magic, we have casting magic, we have spirit magic. So what I thought was basically that brother, his research in forgotten magic was not really it wasn't just forgotten magic, it was actually forgotten spirit magic. And the deep fascination with casting magic, we might do something with that, but that is not actually what we're going to be working on today. It is spirit magic. It's forgotten spirit magic. So if we just jump to our little thing here, blam. Remember this? We had this last week. I'm down here in the corner, got a little rounded edges right here now. Ooh, looking so much fancier. Either way. So now, if we look at this, so forbidden magic, no. New magic, no. Healer. Oh, whoa, that's eraser. We're not going to do that. We're just going to cross this out. No. Old magic, well, yeah. Forgotten magic, old magic. That works. Now, then we just add old spirit magic, right? You see, now we got old spirit magic. Then you know what I thought of was basically like, we're gonna need a person or like some kind of character to be like the guide, because our main character, he's already a part of this world. Like he's well versed with the ways of magic to a degree, of course. So how do we add on to that? How do we explain the world for ourselves? Like I could add like just another random, like a kid, like this guy doesn't know about magic, or like some guy from a country or somewhere where they just don't use magic, and so one day he just walked into town like, what's all this with the magicians? But I didn't want to do that. So what I thought was basically this spirit It's actually going to be, and it kind like I guess it kind of works, and not in the way that I just explained. But this is going to be like, he's going to be like a wise spirit. He's going to be an old spirit. He's not going to be a spirit that just got conjured by the main character. Cog didn't just conjure this spirit. This spirit kind of like, he exists outside of our world in a way. So when he got conjured, he still had like, he had a life before this. We don't really know what or where, all the W's, we don't know those. But he appears. So basically, old spirit magic. Old spirit. So he conjured an old spirit like this, and this old spirit has powers, of course, or he has a lot of knowledge. We can say he's wise. Maybe he's not wise. Like, I want to make him kind of like a funny, possibly cute, like a side character, little, or not even side character, like sidekick character, like mascot character. That's kind of what I want to do. Old spirit magic, you got old spirit is wise, all right? So the old spirit and Cog, they get like soul linked or something. Soul link. Can you tell the words that I'm writing here? Soul link. So because of this soul link, the main character, Cog, and the spirit, I kind of want to just name him Ghost because it feels like such a simple thing to call him, and like it'll be easy to remember. So I'm going to call him Ghost, actually. We're just going to do name Ghost. There we go. This is easy to remember, right? So his name will be Ghost. So it's an old spirit. His name is Ghost. They created a soul link. So when he got conjured, he created a soul link with Cog, or Cog created a soul link with Ghost. So it kind of just happened simultaneously, right? They both soul linked to each other, and now their like life and magical capabilities are linked to each other. So if Cog were to die, so would Ghost, or if Ghost were to die, so would Cog. So they basically like, now that's like the biggest reason, like they're gonna stick together because they're gonna make sure that the other doesn't die, right? Because they don't want that. And that's basically as far as I got when it comes to like what this character is. But this old spirit is wise. But what are the powers, right? What are the powers? So now we got the little thing here, powers again, question mark. Right? So we start over here. We got power over here. I think you can see, yeah. We got power over here. We went to old magic, old spirit magic, old spirit, and then we're back to powers. This is the powers of the old spirit. This is the powers of Ghost. So I'm thinking I kind of want to implement so I don't want him to be like a Pokemon, right? I don't want him to be like separate from Cog. I want Cog and Ghost to like, because they've got this like soul link, the spirit bond, or whatever you want to call it, because they have this, I want them to like, they have to work together in order to accomplish whatever they want to do with the magic they have. So what I'm thinking is, it kind of tropey, but I might just have to do it because it works so well, for the sake of how the power system works and how the powers that I have in mind for Cog and Ghost together to work is basically that Cog, even though he's very fascinated with the magic that his brother did and just magic in general, and he knows a lot about it, he's just never been able to properly utilize it. He's been staying at like a not really a kindergartner level, but like just like a child level of magic, where it's like, you shouldn't be doing magic because you just might die at any point if you just do one little mistake. So he's been kind of avoiding magic, and he's basically been doing just spirit magic using sacrifices, which is seen as one of the simplest magic because it's how do I explain this? It still sounds so weird to me when I feel like I have to explain the magic system in the world that I'm creating, because it's like it just sounds like I'm about to talk out of my ass, but I've written this down, so it's not something that I'm just making up now. It's something that I've made up before, and I'm trying to remember what I've said about it, and still like trying to apply the logic properly. I'm gonna have some water here. Excuse me. Yeah, anyways. So where was I? I literally just my man. 2-second pause and I already forget where I was. All right, you know what? Let's just talk about this. So we're not going to talk a lot about Cog right now. We're going to talk more about Ghost, the powers. So I want the powers of Ghost and Cog to kind of work together, right? So I'm thinking one thing that I just find very cool is if they kind of like maybe Ghost will transform and become Cog's like weapons in some kind of way. Maybe not like a sword or like a gun or something, right? He won't just become like that, or like possibly a shield, because like a shield can have such like, I don't know, like basically anything could be a shield. Like, is there just something in the way of an attack, you can claim that it's a shield to like, kind of, right? But I'm thinking more like, so this is gonna be a rough sketch here, really rough sketch. So if we say we have Cog here, he's standing, he's got his arms out. Here he's got his legs. There. He's got his arms. And then we have, let's use another color just to make it simpler, easier to understand. And then we have like Ghost is like hanging around his arms, around his neck, and he's like kind of like ghost boxing gloves, kind of, and they wrap around because he still has to, like, he can't just split himself up or anything. And now he's got this like ghost boxing gloves. And because Ghost is like an old wise whatever spirit, right? He knows how to use magic, and then he kind of has to channel Cog's magic in order to properly utilize it, because he doesn't have a lot of magic himself, because he was brought into this world, and he can't absorb or use the magic that is in the air. And that is something that that is something I need to like justify, because if he could, then like he would just be powerful by default, and I don't want to do that. So it has to be like, it has to come from Cog, and that's kind of where the progression and stuff will come from. Like Cog will like figure out how to more properly channel his magic, use his magic, like collect and store magic in his body, stuff like that. And of course Ghost will help him with that, like help improve his technique, and they'll think of things together and stuff like, yeah. But either way, and then maybe like he could like turn into like a sword, or maybe he could turn into a shield or something, stuff like that. Like there's a lot of possibilities that could be done with this, but it's just one of the things that I'm thinking of. And maybe like, let's say that Cog decides to like, he does an attack. So he's standing, oh my god, come on, just, there you go. And he's doing like, he's punching. Hiya. Whoosh. He's punching. Blam. And then, because he's punching, and Cog knows what he's doing, like they're in sync, right? He can like help extend his reach, or something like that. He doesn't stay he doesn't stay on this arm anymore. He just moves here, and then he'll reach a little bit further. Kind of like feels a little bit like he's got rubber powers, like one of my favorite main characters in one of my favorite stories. And I don't really want to do that, but it's still not really the same. But still, it's something that I want to work with. But this is like the basics, the essentials of what I'm thinking the power is actually going to be. So he gets this character, he gets this little ghost guy, this spirit, who'll help him, who'll guide him. Like, and that's just a trope in itself, that he's able to do that. But it's kind of what I want to do. And maybe he starts developing his own magic, like, and Ghost won't just do everything for him, because that would be kind of boring as well. Like I still have a lot of room to play because of how the magic system works. But this I feel like this is what I want to do right now, because also we got this old spirit, we got Ghost. What does Ghost look like, right? That's one of the biggest things. That's kind of what I want to focus on this episode even more so than Cog, because actually I have been thinking a lot about Cog. If you look at this, I have been doing like a bunch of like designing, trying to think of character designs. If you're looking at the video version here, and I'm sorry if you're not looking at the video version, because then you kind of like, I'm assuming you kind of zoned out when I started talking about what I was drawing and not really explaining what I was drawing. Here we can see a lot of designs. These are just like very just like sketches of like me trying to think of something and it turning into something else, or just trying to focusing on what will what will Cog, the main character, look like, and just making a bunch of designs and not really being satisfied with any of them. It's kind of what's happening here. That's kind of what's happening here. Like, I like a few of these designs, but not for the main character. Like, almost none of these work for the main character in my head. Maybe some of the clothing, but like all the faces, not really. We have one that I made like 3 different like the angles from, but I'm not sure that I want to use that one either. He looks a little bit too Weasley. Like he looks a little bit like almost like a villain to me. So I'm not sure I want to use that. But either way, so we won't be looking at the main character anymore today. Now we'll be focusing on Ghost. Yeah, that's right. I managed to ramble into a different character. That's right. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, and you can't get away from it because I'm the conductor and I decide where we're going. So I'm thinking, for Ghost, what do we want him to be? I want him to be a small character. I want him to be small. Like, so if we have a human standing here, we just have some dude standing around. And then I want Ghost to be quite small. I want him to be like about this big, about yay high. That's Ghost. And also, like, speaking of Ghost, like his name, one of the reasons that I want him to be called Ghost is kind of like because he will be invisible to most people unless he actually gets to channel some level of magical energy into him, or if Cog channels, unless Cog channels some level of magical energy into Ghost, that's when he'll be visible to other people. Just kind of like a small thing that I wanted to add, and I'll play around with that. We'll see if that even ends up being the right thing. So we have this. This is like a sizing chart. This is Ghost. This is a person. Average. I don't know. Like, what's the average height? Like 170. Is that average height? I don't know. And this is centimeters. That's about. I have no idea. In inches, it's like 5'9", 5'10" or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. Either way, I think that's the average height. But Ghost is about that big. Something like I have a like somewhat of an image in my head. Like I want to do. What I want to do with Ghost is like I want to have like round shapes, but I also want to have like I want him to have some like sharp edges to him still. And this feels like super generic. Like, oh, what are you drawing? A cat? Yeah, maybe I am. Maybe the cat meow, right? No, I don't want to do that. I want to somehow try to avoid doing that. But that's the biggest hurdle right now when it comes to this character. So I want to do something interesting. I want him to look cool, but I don't want him to look too try hard cool. But I feel like what I'm doing right now is try hard cool. But then, like, if he looks like this, and then he has like this cuddly body, right? Maybe something like this. This looks pretty cute, right? And then like we can just add like, yeah, erase this. Maybe he has like this little shapes here that makes it look like he's wearing like slippers or something. It's got something around his hands. Maybe does he have fingers? I think I want to give him fingers, but maybe not fingers like these. Something like that. Then he'll have like shapes and stuff on his body that makes him look like different and cool. I don't know. This is just me creating a very basic like concept here. I'll be keeping these on the same layer. So maybe something like that, or maybe like, because I've been very inspired by Dandadan, a manga that you can actually read online for free if you got the, I think it's the Viz Media app. So I've been reading that because like all the chapters are free and available there. Like the the art style of Dandadan is really nice. I enjoy it a lot. Like the character design and everything, the monsters as well. They have this I don't know what to call it. Like they have this like silly cool to them, similar to One Piece in a way, but still very different from One Piece. But that's just what I love. I love it so much when it's silly cool. That's my jam, silly cool, right? That's what I like. That's what I want to do. So, what I'm thinking, I said what I was thinking with this guy. I'm trying to just like tell you what I'm thinking right now. Like I'm trying to think of a new idea. I still want to do something. Do I want to do like more, like maybe like more a rounded cube or something for the head? Maybe. Will that have something? Maybe we can do like eyes. Because what I wanted, what I really want to do, because I'm so inspired by Dandadan, is like I want to do this like just a lot of teeth or teeth-like imagery. Because Dandadan, like the transformations in Dandadan, they look so cool. I adore them. They're, I wish like like when I saw those transformations, I'm like, God damn it, why didn't I think of that and post that online like 2 years ago? So this guy wouldn't like, so it would seem like this guy stole from me when he thought of them, because they're so fucking cool. Now I'm gonna try to steal from that and like make it my own, of course. But goddamn, they're so awesome. Yeah, I'm not really feeling the rounded square, but I feel like whatever I do, it feels like I'm gonna do ears, like this big like cat-like ears, I guess. Maybe will he be like cat likes? I was kind of joking before when I said that, but maybe it will be. Will he have one eye? Meow. Look at this cute little bastard. This guy is just silly. No, I don't think I want to do that. Nah. See, this is where I'll always end up, right? This is where I always like, I think of something and then I have like an image in my head, and even when I know like exactly what I want to draw, my mind just can't make it happen. Not that like, if I really focus, I could probably draw what I have in my head, but as soon as I take this pen and as soon as it touches the screen and I try to draw something, my mind is like, just draw something else, dude. I know you just want to draw something, right? Why don't you just draw something else? Wouldn't that be pretty cool still? Wouldn't that be pretty fucking awesome if you drew something else? And of course, because my mind is telling my mind that, my mind responds with, oh yeah, dude, yeah, let's draw something else. That is one of my biggest, like the biggest flaw I have as an artist. As soon as I have like, I need to like really have like a super clear image before I can properly do something, because otherwise if I don't have it, I start drawing something and my mind's like, yeah, well, just make some shit up, dude. Just make it up. And here I sit, and we got this little dude, we got this. Maybe what if we give him like, kind of want to do like a huge mouth. I don't want him to look like too fierce, or not fierce, but like I said earlier, with like the try hard. Will it look too try hard if I give him like full mouth, like a full head-sized mouth, filled with teeth? Maybe it would. Yeah, you're a little bit worried, little dude. Yeah, me too. Look at this little guy. Look at this little dude. Well, I like that design. I don't know what for. Like what I would use it for, but we're gonna keep that, I guess. What else can we do? Like, all right. I'm gonna take. Maybe this will be a little time lapse because it might take a little bit longer than me just sitting here and telling you what I'm thinking, what I'm doing. But I'm gonna try to do like create the image that I have in my head here. All right. I'm gonna really try. So I'm gonna have to focus. And this will be a time lapse. We'll see how long it takes. All right. Let's see here. What do we have here? I was not prepared for this, but it seems I've drawn like what kind of looks like a little goat boy, a little goat guy. I think he's cute. I think he's quite adorable. I'm not sure like these scars or stitches, whatever I have here. I'm not too sure about them. Like, do they work without them? It works fine without them, so I might not keep them. I want to add some like details around the eyes. Maybe like something like this kind of works. Something. But this is not actually what I had in my mind. Go figures, right? This is not the image I had in my head when I was started talking about this character. But I really like this, like just this as a little guy, because, and this is just something that I thought of as I was speaking just now. What if this guy was like one of the star signs, right? Was it like Taurus? Then has, or could he be Capricorn? Could he be Capricorn? I'm a Capricorn, so I'm kind of partial towards Capricorns when it comes to star signs and stuff, and that because that's about the extent of my knowledge of like what star sign you are. I have no idea about the personalities and stuff like that. I don't really believe that, but whenever I see Capricorn, it's like, hey, I'm a Capricorn. Cool, I like Capricorn. So maybe this could be Capricorn. But we call him Ghost because he doesn't remember, and that's why that's why it's old magic, dude. This works, right? This works. He's forgotten magic. He's an old spirit. His name's Ghost because he can remember, and people can't see him without the magic. But he's Capricorn, and then I can just like I can do some research about the star sign Capricorn, what it kind of represents, and whatever, because I have no idea about that, except that I just know that I am one. Or possibly not, because of what people figured out about the star signs, and you're like, if you were born before whatever, you might not be whatever. So I think that's what I want to do. Actually, I think this is an old spirit. He's one, like, and then I could do like, because how many star signs are there? Are there like 12? Are there 12? I don't know how many there are, but I can just like I can do 12 of these little chibi designs, and they'll be adorable, and they'll pop up throughout the story, right? Maybe they'll all be together at some time. Maybe they'll never be together, or maybe they don't even know who the others are, and they just think they're the whatever, right? I feel like that's something, and I can work with that. I still want to do the thing with the powers for the hero. So this little guy, most likely, I really like this design because I feel like I can do a lot of this when it comes to like personality wise as well. Possibly like just the body. This is something that is like, well, stripes are pretty cool, and you got the little teeth, and maybe even though they look like teeth, they might be something else just because of the stripes around the rest of the body or something. Not sure, but I really like this. I think it's fucking cute. I think it's pretty fucking adorable. So I want to use this, and I want to do the star sign thing, and I want to work with that for the main character. So next time, I guess we'll keep working on this. By next time, maybe I have a basic design for the main character. Most likely not, but I think this is what we're going to keep doing now. This is what the podcast will be from now on, unless I decide to do another episode about just ranting about something else, but we never know. I might just actually make this into like a purely YouTube series because of the format, because I'm just drawing, right? I think, you know what? Yeah. Ooh, that's loud. From this point onwards, from this episode onwards, this will not be the podcast. I will still do the podcast. I'll be rambling about other stuff. But from this point onwards, Trolldom will be a YouTube exclusive vidcast, I guess, right? Because the video is kind of important when I'm drawing. So I think that's what I want to do now. That's what I'm going to do. It's decided. You saw it live, or not live, but you saw it happen. Technically, it happened live. Like in my brain, it happened while you were looking at the video. It's still like, kind of just happening there. All right. Goodbye now.